Hi everybody, Greg Lane here, and I want to welcome you to your free NLP video series disclosing secrets that almost magically increase anyone's ability to increase their sales by 40 to 1,000% overnight. The kind of stuff that up to this point in time has only been available as part of my $3,000 NLP Trifold Practitioner Certification Program. But today and over the next few days, as you watch this free video series, you're going to get some of that same content right out of my training for free. Again, I want to just thank you for joining me. It feels great to get this off my chest. I've been looking forward to putting this information in the hands of more people, and thanks to the World Wide Web, it's finally possible. As you listen, make sure that you get the big picture and go through the entire series in order to understand what the applications of this information are, why it's so important, how you can use it, the points that you need to know in order to do it, and most importantly perhaps is how to execute it, how to carry out in the real world. Now, I know that you're wondering how this is going to help you, and it's a good thing to wonder, but if your mind begins to wander when you're listening to the videos, just listen closely to what I say, because that means you're just learning new things and you're processing new things, and it's normal to feel like you're almost getting a little sidetracked, but don't worry about it. I'm sure you're not. You'll be learning the whole time, because even when you're not listening directly to me, if your mind is going off in all kinds of different directions thinking about ways to apply this, your unconscious mind will still be listening. So all the things that you can learn by going through these NLP Secrets videos will provide you with some new insights and understandings, and that will help you in both your personal and professional life. In fact, I think it's right that we all share to continually improve ourselves and to improve every aspect of our lives, our personal lives and our professional life. And I just want you to promise that as you get these new skills, these newfound powers, that you always use them for good, right? Because some of this stuff is really powerful, and I don't want you to misuse it. I don't want you to abuse it. You just gotta be really upright and honest and use this with best intentions to help other people, help bring them to a conclusion, to a decision, whether that's a yes or a no, but help them just bring forward the information in a way that the people can understand it better so that they can make a decision one way or the other, okay? So other than that, everything's great. This process, kind of reminds me of when we were children. We were learning how to tie our shoes, and at first, we didn't even know how to tie them. And then we knew how to tie them, but it took a lot of work. And then ultimately, we didn't even have to think about it anymore, right? We just do it automatically. And that's kind of what goes on with this process. At first, I just got to give you some groundwork, some basics about what the shoelaces are, and then how to tie them, and then how to tie them without having to think about them. So for those of you who don't know, who may have been referred by someone else or just stumbled across a landing page and ended up here, my name is Dr. Greg Lane, and I am a certified trainer of NLP, time empowerment techniques, cellular memory transformation, and hypnosis. So the first question that people often ask is, what is Neuro-Linguistic Programming? And that's a good question because there's a lot of different definitions out there. But Neuro-Linguistic Programming is all about how we process and encode information in our minds. And it's about modeling. It's about finding processes, finding ways of communication, finding ways of getting our message across that has been successful with other people, and then utilizing that in order to improve our own results. It just makes sense to utilize that which we know that works instead of trying to reinvent the wheel. It's also about creating win-win situations so that everybody involved is coming out on top. We're looking for synergistic ways for everybody to work together and everybody to benefit. This is perhaps slightly new school thinking for some people. The old way was thinking about competition and how one side can get the upper hand, and the reality is that does not work the best. What works the best is when we all give and we all share and we all look for ways to make it work for everyone. NLP, some people are a little bit weirded out because they've heard things about NLP practitioners and hypnotists and things like that, that they can control my mind and they can do things to me and get me to do things I don't want to do. And that's not what this is about at all. NLP and hypnosis is really a do-with process, not a do-to. You're always in charge of your own mind. You're always in charge of your thoughts. Even when you're in a deep hypnotic state, you're still able to exercise your free will. And if you found your way here, it's probably because you're looking to increase your personal and most likely professional productivity so you can make more money in less time and have more fun doing it. And that's what this is really all about. So, NLP and hypnosis, in this field, we use a series of techniques, of which I'm going to be going over one technique in each of the 5 videos. We use these techniques to induce change in the state and behavior, in, if you would say, the belief, the perception, in order to get the results that you desire. We can actually utilize very subtle techniques that will get people to look at things in different ways, that will get people to feel like they've known us, so that they know, like, and trust us. And we know that sales come at the speed of trust, so it's very important to be able to get other people's trust, and one of the ways you do that is by being in what's called rapport. All of these series, everything in all of my NLP and hypnosis, time empowerment techniques, cellular memory transformation, all of this is about personal empowerment. It's about self-determination and helping you to overcome the obstacles, barriers, and plateaus in your life, and rapidly and successfully achieve your ultimate dreams and desires. And one of the things we need to get a real firm grasp of is that our words do not describe the world we live in, rather they determine the world we live in. And there are more and more scientific studies that are starting to prove that out and make it very clear for everyone. Another thing that needs to be covered here right up front is the fact that all change happens in an instant, and it occurs at the level of your unconscious. So while we've often been taught that change is hard and once you've got stuff you're stuck with it, that's really just a bunch of bull. That's perpetrated by people who don't know how accelerated human change technology actually works. And the fact is that at some point you learned how to do something that maybe isn't working for you now. You actually learned how to do that in an instant. And just the same way, in an instant, with the right impetus, with the right pattern interrupt, with the right thinking, with the right communication skills, in an instant it can be changed into a positive cellular memory and a positive program for you. And all of this occurs at the level of your unconscious mind. Just like if I were to ask you, what's 2 times 2? That's right. 4 pops into your brain, and where did that come from? It came from your unconscious mind into your conscious awareness. And that's all we're working with, really. We're working with your unconscious mind in order to help put in more knowledge and more programs that will help you in your personal and professional life. Again, all learning, all behavior, and all change occurs at the level of your unconscious. Just briefly before we move into the first video, I actually want to point this out. This is from one of the slides from my NLP practitioner training as well. The conscious use of language. There are all types of miscommunications and misunderstandings that result from the way that we speak, which is not always grammatically correct. In addition to the fact that sometimes we're talking a different language, a foreign language, if you will, to someone else who happens to be using what's called a different representational system or a different primary rep system. So just looking at one sentence here, take the one that says, I am going to be married. When you look at that, it sounds perfectly normal, and yet we know in our unconscious mind from what we were taught in school that I am is now tense, going is active tense, to is future tense, be is now tense, and married with that ed on the end is past tense. So what we have there is now tense, active tense, future tense, now tense, past tense. And that's the way we tend to speak because we weren't trained properly in creating all of our syntaxes the way that they should be. So while the speaker who's talking to you may be focusing on the now tense, your mind could be hung up on the past tense unconsciously, and the next thing you know, you have a miscommunication. You have a misunderstanding because you're talking 2 different things. And that's why sometimes you get done and you talk to someone later and you talk about how something happened or what was said, and people completely disagree even though they were in the same room. One of the things that we find with NLP is that words are just labels, and they mean different things to different people. So with that said, you've got a little bit of introduction here to what these 5 videos are all going to be about. Now we're actually about to head into the first video, NLP technique number 1, the basis of communication. Again, I want to thank you for stopping by and look forward to hearing your feedback at www.laserguidedmarketing.com. Look for the part that talks about NLP techniques, free NLP videos. Move on into a page and post a topic for me. I'd really appreciate the feedback. Let me know what you learned, what's helped you, what perhaps you would like more information on in relationship to these topics, so that I can provide you better value in the future, okay? So with that, I'm out of here, off to the next video, and we'll see you on the other side. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.